Hello friends, in this video I will help you understand how you should go about tackling a difficult interview question. Now what I will cover in this video is what is a difficult interview question, so what is the definition, what kind of questions are difficult. Second is how not to answer such difficult interview questions. Third is what is the hack, the special hack that I will tell you in order to address and tackle any difficult interview question and ace it. Next, I will explain why this hack works. What is so special about this hack that it always works and helps you hit the score or hit the home run with the difficult interview question. Then I will talk about what are the watchouts you need to be careful. And lastly, we'll share an example for you to have complete understanding of how to go about in answering or handling such a difficult interview question. So let's get rolling into the video. Now, starting with what is a difficult interview question. A difficult interview question is either a question for which you don't have an answer, or it's a question that you don't understand and you're not sure what is that you're supposed to answer, how you're supposed to answer, what examples are you supposed to share. So you're kind of confused and not really sure. Or maybe you have some idea, but you're not certain and you have like one or two options flowing in your mind in terms of what answer to use, but you're not sure whether to answer it with option A or whether to answer it with option B. So questions where you have such a feeling or such a perception are actually difficult interview questions, which I will help you address with the hack that I will share in this video. Now, how you should not go about tackling any difficult question. You should never use the word I. For example, I don't understand. Don't put it on yourself. Don't make it about you that you have an issue understanding. So make sure you don't use the word I. Because if you use the word I, which is I don't understand, I'm not clear, I am not sure, then this all means there is something wrong with you and you need help. So other examples of phrases where you use I is I don't understand, I'm not clear, I'm not sure. All of this means that there is an issue with you. Don't get into a situation where the interviewer feels that there is something wrong with you in your understanding, in your clarity. So avoid the use of word I completely. Now, one call out before we move further. In case you find any value from this video, I have two asks for you. One, press the like button so this keeps you motivated. Second, press the subscribe button so you get notified as soon as I put a new video on this channel. On this channel, I post videos twice a week pertaining to career and personal finance success for early and mid-career professionals. Now let's get rolling with the video. Now this is a very good segue for me to introduce and reveal the hack. The hack is all about using the word you. The idea is to put the onus and the responsibility on the interviewer, that it was interviewer's miss or it was interviewer's issue or challenge that he or she has not been able to communicate the question well to the interviewee. So you need to make use of the word you in the phrase that you will say. And let me share some examples. Can you please say more? Can you please say more? So when the interviewer asks you a difficult question, you go like, can you please say more? Can you please elaborate? Can you please clarify more? And also it would be nice to use the word more, which means you kind of have some understanding, but it wasn't completely clear. And hence you, the interviewer, needs to clarify more, elaborate more, say more. And more again is to say you got part of it, but it wasn't complete. And there is some issue with the way the interviewer is communicating or the question that they are asking, that they need to elaborate more and do a better job. Now the onus is all on the interviewer. So interviewer doesn't feel that you didn't get it because you lack understanding. Rather, the interviewer now feels that you didn't get it because they didn't ask the right question, or they didn't clarify well enough, or they didn't elaborate well enough, and so on and so forth. So all you need to do is with this hack is put the onus and the responsibility on the interviewer. Now I will talk about why this works. Now suddenly the interviewer feels the pressure and the spotlight is on the interviewer because he or she feels that they didn't do a good job with their question. And now they will go at length to help you understand and make sure that the question they've asked is a sensible question. It is a question that anyone can understand, and they'll try to do a better job this time because now they have a second chance for them to explain the question to you, because they don't want to come across as someone dumb who hasn't asked the right question. So they will make sure that you really understand the question because it wasn't a bad or a dumb question. It was rather a very smart question on their end. It's just that they didn't do a good job. So now they will feel kind of embarrassed, pressured, and would try their best for you to understand the question. And in this clarification that they will pass on to you, they will give you half of the answer, because now they will start sharing examples of what they mean. So for instance, if they go around asking you a question about an organizational change, so have you ever led an organizational change? Now, organizational change is a very broad question. It could be all about firing people, hiring people, restructuring people, and all. So you're not sure exactly what he or she is looking for. You have multiple answers in your head, and you go like, can you please say more? And then they feel, oh, they didn't give you the complete question. The question wasn't specific, wasn't concise. Now the pressure is on them, and they go like saying, oh, actually what I mean by, if you were ever part of an organizational restructure where you had to hire and also fire people, or where you had to reallocate responsibilities between people according to their strengths, according to their opportunities, or you had to reprioritize work. So they'll start giving you all these examples which you can use and bake in your own answer. So you can say, yes, of course, I've been in such situations where I prioritized, where I assessed the strength of the team, so allocated the project and associated different projects to the team members based on their strengths and based on their capabilities, also hired a few individuals in the right roles, also restructured the organization in a way where we had to eliminate certain roles, and so on and so forth. So you start using all the smart words that he or she was looking initially in their question. It's just that because they thought they didn't do a good job in asking the question, so they ended up giving the answer to you, and all you need to do is pick up those nuggets, bake them in your answer, and give the answer to them exactly the way they want it. Now let me call out the watch out. One, if it's a very regular and run-of-the-mill question, tell me about your accomplishment, tell me about your weakness, tell me about your leadership, then please don't use this technique, because this is a very standard sample question. They ask this question in hundreds of the interviews that they've taken, and suddenly you are interviewee 101 who goes by saying, I don't understand this question. They go like, I asked this question to 100 other interviewees and they were able to answer immediately, easily. What is with this particular individual that he doesn't understand or she doesn't understand? So make sure these are not run-of-the-mill questions. And in any case, you should be prepared for run-of-the-mill questions. You should already have prepared what kind of questions the interviewer would be asking around conflict, around leadership, around idea generation, around prioritization, and so on and so forth. So make sure those standard questions are already addressed and prepared with you. It's only special questions, slightly different from run-of-the-mill questions, for which you are allowed to use this hack, because the interviewer also feels that this was kind of a different question that they asked you just because the conversation led to the area or to the point where they ended up asking you this particular question. Now, this hack especially works even better when the interviewer is going into probing questions, because probing question is all about where the interviewer follows the discussion. So they ask a question, you answer, and they build their next question on the answer. And now they're losing the track of their regular run-of-the-mill questions. And now they're just following and moving along with your answers. And they may end up asking a question which is not a standard question. And they only ask this question because they were in a flow. And that is when it is easy for you to use the hack. But if it is a very standard question, tell me about a time when you had to lead a team, tell me about a time when there was a conflict, don't try to use this hack. Rather, you should be prepared in answering those questions. Another suggestion or watch out is don't overuse this hack. At best, I would say use it once in one interview. If you use it twice, thrice, then the interviewer will start to feel that maybe there's some issue in your understanding of what he or she is saying. Because there could be one question at best where the interviewer may feel that it is their fault that they were not able to explain it well, and hence they may go to length to explain it to you. But if you do it with every other question, then they may start to feel that there is something actually wrong with your understanding, because they can be wrong once, but not twice and thrice and 4 times, and so on and so forth. So the example that I want to share here is, let's say the interviewer is inquiring from you, how do you share the success or performance of a particular business unit? And you answer back by saying that you have certain KPIs, you measure and track those KPIs, whether the business is doing good or not, let's say on quarterly basis. So at the end of every quarter, you sit down, you fill up a scorecard where you measure key KPIs, and then you share it with the team and judge the progress of those KPIs. So here, let's say the interviewer asks you a probing question, which is, thank you, I understand how you measure success of a particular quarter or a particular month by measuring various KPIs. Is there a way in your current organization or in your current role you measure the success or performance of leading indicators? Now, this is what all they say, and now they're silent and looking at you. Now you are not clear what they mean by leading indicators, because either it could be a term which you are not familiar with because maybe you use a very different term in your organization, or maybe frankly you have no clue what the person is talking about. And now suddenly you don't want to sound dumb by saying, I don't understand what leading indicators mean, because that's not the case. You should be knowing what leading indicators mean. So here you can go by saying, can you clarify more, or can you say more, and just stop there. By saying, can you say more, you kind of say, I get part of it, but it's better if you clarify more so I can come up with a better answer. And suddenly the interviewer is in pressure and they go like, oh, what I mean by is, let me share an example. So for instance, looking at the search terms on the internet or on Amazon, you can judge whether your product is in demand or not, which is it's a leading indicator whether you would do good in that particular quarter if people are searching for your product. Similarly, if people are talking about your product on the social media, so they are putting hashtag to your product, that means it's a leading indicator that there are more people talking about you in this particular quarter. Hence, you can judge and expect a better result in this quarter. So that is what I mean by what I'm trying to ask and understand if you've done something similar in your role or in your company. Now, suddenly you have these two examples. So you can jump and say, yes, for sure. In my role, we do measure search results of our shoppers and also digital media progress or digital media chatter or hashtags being used on a product. And additionally, what we also do is we also measure and track how we are spending based on different KPIs that we called out to make sure that we are spending our marketing dollars or marketing spend in exactly the way we want the results to be. So that is also for us a leading indicator that if we are exactly spending the money the way we want the results to be, that is, let's say if we want a certain business unit or a certain brand to grow faster than other brands, which means we should be spending more money on that brand. So we track during each week or each month whether we are living up to the strategy or not. And if we are, that is also a leading indicator that we would be able to deliver a good, healthy quarter. Now, what you actually did was you took two of the examples from the individual himself or herself, used it and baked it in your answer, and additionally added one or two other factors from your side. So for instance, I used the search, the hashtag, and then I also said that we also track marketing spending as a leading indicator. And suddenly what you've done is you've given that person what he or she was looking for, but you also told them that it's not like you did a copy paste of what they told you. You had some other examples as well to add. But now it's a complete answer because you gave them all they were looking for, plus your own sample answer or idea or suggestion on top. So this way you're not copy and pasting, rather you're copying and then you're building on it and then you're giving the answer back to them. So this is an example of the hack where the interviewer will themselves help you with the pointers that you should be using in your answer. Hopefully this video was helpful and would help you ace any difficult questions. Thank you for watching this video. On this channel, I also have a video which I highly recommend where I talk about how to handle questions for which you don't have an answer at all. So check out this video. Other than that, I have another video where I talk about how to address and tackle one of the most underprepared questions for an interview, which is introduce yourself or tell me about yourself. So here's the link to that video. Thank you.